prayers can as well do so. So please, anyone who is ready to give us the opening prayers can proceed to give us the opening prayers. Yes, Diana, do you want to give us the opening prayers? Okay, proceed.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for how far you have brought us. We commit this session into your hands. We pray that you come and have your way. At the end, we give all the glory and honor to you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Dinah, for your prayers. We want to kickstart the program. We are actually time bound and we want to respect time. So it's 6 and we are starting. Anyone who fails to join can as well go and watch the stream. We are streaming on YouTube, and if anyone has missed this session, can just go there and watch the YouTube version. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Can you all hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So I am Jones Amega Shibiglo. I don't know whether you can see my video, but I am actually Jones Amega Shibiglo. I'm the Executive Director of Youth Impact Movement. Youth Impact Parliament is under Youth Impact Movement, and I'm coming to orient you on the vetting in that capacity, and in my capacity as the Executive Director of Youth Impact Movement. Today's session is very important because obviously you need to know the organization and maybe what we do in order to have a view about how the entire vetting is going to be. You need to be given an information about how the entire process will go. That is why we are here. And now to do so um, is to go straight to the point. I'm just going straight to the point because as I said, we don't have time. And we'll be taking questions and answers after my presentation. We'll be taking questions and answers after my presentation. So if you have questions, you can as well ask it after my presentation. I just shared the link of the stream on the page. So if in case you can't hear me, you can as well go and watch the presentation and then you'll be fine. Now, I'm starting the entire orientation, okay? You may ask, what is youth impact movement that you're hearing about? Youth impact movement in simple terms is the mother body that houses Youth Impact Parliament and Youth Impact Foundation. The Parliament is the flagship program. That is why it has all the attention. The foundation is there to raise funds and then also for humanitarian activities, collaborations with youth MPs as well. Anything that is humanitarian within the movement is being done by the foundation. Now, the Parliament, as you know, which is the flagship program, is where all the attention is. The Parliament is the grounds for demonstrating whatever the movement will teach you or whatsoever the Parliament will teach you. You know, you go to a lot of seminars and then they tell you everything, but there is no place for you to actually practice what you are being taught. It is also a ground to develop your capacity. So, Youth Impact Parliament creates opportunity for youth to be groomed in public speaking, parliamentary business, and social norms and values. That is what we do. That is what we actually do. We are focused on building your capacity. Now, apart from building your capacity, we also outdoor you. So every MP who has taken his oath will be outdoor through a poster. We will always do a poster for each MP, and whatsoever committee that you are part of, will all of them be published on our social media handles. The Deputy Executive Director of Youth Impact Movement, in charge of parliamentary affairs, is also in our midst, Mr. Aman Odina. So he will speak and cover whatever I fail to cover during the orientation before we hear questions and answers. So that is it. And also, this is a voluntary organization. Okay, there is nothing like allowances. I want all of you to know there is nothing like allowances for anyone. But the end, what we give you is more than any money would ever give you because of the kind of people we bring for you to network with. And then being part of this entire network, even your colleagues, who knows, they are future MPs and ministers here. But through this platform, you'd have met and then all those. Our sittings are most at times physical interactions. So our operational region is the Volta region and who that is where we operate at. So that is why most of our sittings are there. Uh, our Youth Impact Parliament contact has been sharing information on the prospective MP's page. We expect that all of you comply by that information. Everyone should save that number as Youth Impact Parliament. And also the social media handles that it shares, try and follow them all because we'll teach you how to tap information from the page. The pages that is after you qualify to become, after you are recommended, then we'll teach you how to tap information from the pages because every page that that contact creates has a purpose and that purpose is executed over there. So some of the incumbent MPs think the pages are too much, but the pages are there for a reason. Yes, so we'll teach you all that in the pre-inaugural orientation. Now coming to the substantive matter, the vetting. The vetting, which is why we are holding this orientation. The vetting is there for a reason, okay? The vetting is there for us to know you, for the appointing authorities to know who you are, because it is from knowing who you are that we can even give you further appointments. Yes, so the vetting is relevant for us to know who you are. So the vetting is not really there to disqualify anyone. We just want to know who you are. However, there are some relevant information you might tap from there. You realize that in filling the form, there is a lot of information we get from you because we'll use that information to complete our database. Okay, the database is very important because we get to send you mails from the information you have already provided in the database. So the database is very important. So we'll use the information over there. And of course, we don't forget celebrating birthdays. If we celebrate for one person, we surely celebrate for the other. So the vetting is for us to know who you are. So when it is time for the vetting, feel free and express yourself with us. Some of the returning MPs feel because they are coming back again, they don't need any vetting. Is this when you go through the entire process again, is this an assurance that you are committed to continue? Is this an assurance that you are committed to continue? So that is why returning MPs, as you know, even Parliament of Ghana, when you are going for another term, you go for party primaries again, and then the main election. Is this for you to reaffirm your commitment to duty? So that is it over there. And then the vetting will be conducted by the appointment committee, of which the Deputy Executive Director in charge of parliamentary affairs will be an ex officio during the vetting process, and I myself. So the interaction is supposed to be very short. We don't really hope to spend getting to 10, 15 minutes on each person because you are plenty. So minimum should be three, maximum should be like seven For the returning MPs that we already know, we might not even spend any time on them. But if they apply for another constituency which is different from theirs, we might need to know why they have chosen another constituency. But if they choose the same constituency, you might not spend so much time on them because it's just like they are going again for your same seat, and it's very it's quite high for you to win that seat again. So with that mentality, we give more precedence to them as returning MPs coming for the same constituency. And someone will ask, what will happen to new MPs coming for the same constituency as returning MPs? So we need the vetting to know who you are. And then at the end, if it is more befitting for you to occupy that constituency, we recommend that constituency to you. We recommend you for that constituency. But if in case you are not really able to beat the record the incumbents has sent, it doesn't mean we would deny you recommendation. We only recommend you for another constituency. However, the appointment committee chaired by the first deputy speaker of the incumbent parliament is very keen on attendance. Attendance. As we said, most of our sittings are physical. We'll surely hold not less than a virtual sitting. Okay. But attendance is very key. When we have very important sittings and MPs, or when we have very important personalities coming into our midst, and the youth MPs are not around, it is quite an embarrassing situation for us. So we are very keen on attendance. So if you are resident in Cape Coast, you are resident in Tamale, and then all those, and you know you are not going to come for any sitting of the house, the appointment committee might basically recommend that you should be part of the movement and not be an MP, because it's going to be highly obvious that you never come for any sitting. And in the second parliament as of now, about 25 to 30 people who didn't have the capacity to come for sittings, because we had people who were not in town, but they have never missed any sitting. Some of them were even residents in Eastern region, but they have not missed any sitting. Yes, but some people around 25, as I said, they have not attended any sitting. And what happens when you fail to attend a sitting? After 3 sittings, you'll be referred to the privileges committee. If you have not taken your oath, when you have been discovered that you have not been taking your oath, your appointment is being revoked by the House. Your appointment is being revoked by the House. But when you take your oath, when you take your oath, when you take your oath, as I said, you become a fully fledged MP. So your appointment cannot be revoked except you go through the process as per Order 34, which says the Speaker ought to refer you to the Privileges Committee. The Privileges Committee, you'll be referred to the Privileges Committee. In the current House right now, around 32 MPs for 27 have been referred to the Privileges Committee, of which they are being questioned, and the report will be presented at this July sitting. And if none of them turns out, or the committee recommends that they should equally be booted out, they'll be booted out and certificates will not be given to them. Although the House will be dissolved just in August, they'll be booted out before that, because you want to set a precedence. You don't sign up for something you know you not participate in. If you know you are never going to come for any sitting of this House, it's just best you withdraw, because we will not allow you to carry our name and you never turn up for the job. The job of this particular parliament is in the House, it's a plenary and at the committee level. The job is not really in your constituency, because there is going to be nothing like elections. Everything is going to be appointment. So had it been election, then you owe a full duty to your constituents. It's going to be pure appointment, because the attention is at plenary and committee sittings. So if you cannot come for any sitting of the House, if you cannot come for any sitting of the House, then you don't have any business here. It's best you remain from afar and support us and hype us than to be an MP and you never come for any sitting. So even when we give you, even when your appointment letter, okay, the line is breaking. Okay. Yeah, hello. Can you hear me now? Okay, so I'll just proceed. Now I'm saying that even when we recommend you for a seat. Oh, okay. So it means my initial. Okay. So if I can be heard well, then I'll just revert to um, using my actual line. So can I be heard well? Can you hear me well? Okay, thank you. So I was saying that. So I was saying that um, even if we issue appointment to you, you have been recommended for a constituency, and you fail to turn up after 3 sittings, your appointment will be revoked. In fact, the inauguration is compulsory for everyone. The inauguration is on the 12th of August 2023, and the inauguration is compulsory for everyone. Because if you miss the inauguration, you didn't take your oath on that day, you are not even a youth MP. You are just a youth MP appointed, but you're not substantive. And after 3 sittings, if you still fail to turn up, your appointment will be directly be revoked. So it's very important that you come. If you are ready for the job, you should be able to avail yourself. Sittings are held only once a month. Sittings are held only once a month, and it will surely be once a month. Sometimes we'll hold it online. But amazingly, the online self does not even seem to be convenient because people are able to make it to the physical than the online. We're hoping that some of the MPs in which their appointment were revoked, as of them would have turned up for online sittings, but they were not even present for the online sittings. So that is the issue. Order 34 says what? You can only miss a sitting when you take permission from the speaker, but the speaker can only give permission for 3 consecutive sittings. After 3 consecutive sittings, the speaker cannot give you any further permission. You have to turn up. So at worst, if you miss 3 sittings, the fourth sitting you should try and come around. Try and come around. Because at the end, anytime you come, you get to learn something small. Don't forget, you are not the only person given to this house. This house is equally given to you. The house is creating opportunity for you to air yourself, to practice public speaking, see how it feels like in Parliament. Before you get to Parliament of Ghana, before you get to Parliament of Ghana, you would have already known how the job is done. Because what we do here, we do vigorous parliamentary business. And when you get to Parliament of Ghana, you just realize that it is the same thing. The only difference is that it is at the national level, and then there is a monument for it. There are monuments for it. It is because of the intensity and the seriousness of how we do our business here. So it's very important that you take what we do very serious. The returning MPs who take what we do very serious have not regretted. They can as well give you testimonies that this house has been able to groom them. Even I myself, I have benefited from this opportunity. So no one is exclusive to this. No one is exclusive to this. We are all benefiting from this because it creates the platform for all of us. Okay? Creates the platform for all of us. So please, attendance to sitting is a very important issue. And we are just telling you ahead, even if you get recommended and you fail to turn up after 3 sittings, if the inauguration is August, you miss August. August is the first sitting, September 2nd, October 3rd. Know that by October, November, you'll be booted out. Just know behind or you'll be booted out. So if you know you cannot make it for any sitting of the house, then it's just best you be a member of the movement and then not be an MP, so that you give the opportunity to people who are rather ready to avail themselves and learn to have that opportunity to serve as a youth MP. So that is it on the attendance. So as I said, the vetting, the questions that are going to ask is just to see how you answer for us to see the kind of person you are. Because mind you, after inauguration, we are going to form committees of the House. We have 35 committees, of which each of the committees are supposed to have chairpersons and then ranking members. And the select committees, the standing committees have vice chairpersons and deputy ranking members. And all these positions are to be given to people like you. So it is from the vetting that will know the kind of person you are. And turning up for the orientation, the appointment, the committee on selection would have had the opportunity to interact with you and would have seen that yes, you are competent enough to hold this position. Yes. But for the leadership positions, those ones, the people are already being looked at. So they'll be presented on, because on that same 12th August, it's a full day activity. In the morning, the old house will be dissolved, and then by afternoon, the new house will be formed. So it's a full day activity. Yes. So that is it for the inauguration. And then standing orders. The standing orders, the current one is already there. A new one has been approved, of which some changes will be made. And that one will be shared on the page, or I think just use the old one because we are still sorting out some few issues. So we'll share the link to the old one because not a lot has changed. It's just some positions that have changed. And the content is not that different. So we'll share the link on the page for you to look at our standing orders. But before the inauguration, the new one will be shared. Youth Impact Movement has a constitution, and that constitution is what we use as Youth Impact Movement. Youth Impact Foundation's provisions are in the constitution, but for Youth Impact Parliament, we have very express provisions in it. So the constitution of the movement does not really speak so much on the parliament. Yes, it does not speak so much on the parliament. At this point in time, I invite Amano to add his take and some of the returning MPs to add their take on some issues, and then we'll start taking questions and answers. So, Amano, Amano now, if you're on the line, or he's off the line, he's off the line. Okay. Um, Francis Koji, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, honorable.
Yes.
Yeah, me, the only thing I would tell the new MPs, even looking at the number and looking at the application we have, I don't know if it has been put in segments where others will join tomorrow or the next. Looking at the number.
Yes, we are yet to release how the vetting will be done. Um, the vetting might be done.
The orientation has the orientation
No,
been put in segments or
no, all is to be done today. The pre-vetting
looking
orientation
at
is today.
the number of the new MPs that has joined this orientation alone is giving a very bad signal of the kind of people we are going to have on board. Because, like you said earlier, they should know and be aware that this is a voluntary platform. You and I could attest to the fact that the last time we were at the assembly, and the assembly member who came to talk to us made it clear that their work is also a voluntary work. But looking at how serious they are and all that, we could also do the same thing. So if they really want to be part of the house, we are not looking for numbers. We are looking for people, serious people for that matter. It's not something we want to put here, the numbers on paper, and physically the numbers won't be there. So my advice to them is that the vetting is not going to be the kind of vetting that probably even some of us who are MPs that are still coming back, we should all be aware that the betting is not going to be like how we had the first one. This one is going to be a tough game. That if you are being given the nod, know that you have indeed passed. Because we do not want any lazy group of people. In fact, this youth parliament is taking over the country now, and we need to be serious. It's taking over the country. Most active youth parliament in Ghana as we speak. No doubt, there is no other youth parliament as active as Youth Impact Parliament, who sits at least once in every month. Even the regional and the municipal youth parliament under NYA has sit for over 2 to 3, 4 years now. They have not even gathered anywhere to discuss any issue. Under NYA, government sponsored. They've been years now. They've not gathered anywhere. But by the grace of God and out of our own voluntary, we've been active for the past years, 2 years for that matter. So if you want to be part, you should be ready to be present at each sitting, virtual or physical, because we are all workers. In fact, some of us are workers, students, we do other things, but trust me, we try to schedule and excuse our time to make sure that we avail ourselves for the grooming and the teachings that we do receive. Me also, a lot of things that I know today is from Youth Impact Parliament, and I could not be able to afford that should they ask me to pay. I won't be able to afford it because that's very expensive. That is what somebody has paid for 4 years to learn. If we are able to get those things on silver platter for free. So I'm not saying this for anybody to feel like maybe we are going to put in any strict measures and all that. No, I'm just saying this to make us all aware that in our next parliament, we are not going to joke with attendance, either virtual or physical. We are not going to joke with it, and we are not going to joke with a lot of things. In fact, the standing orders are going to be more effective in the next parliament than it is today. It is going to be more effective. In fact, Honorable Speaker, I want to also suggest that in the next parliament, we should have a serious workshop where we will educate members on all the standing orders, more especially the ones that has to do with most of our business in the house. So each and every member will know the standing orders and have it in a hard copy. And then whenever we are applying those standing orders, they will know it, because during our last disciplinary measures that we are putting in place to see if we could accept some members back into the house due to the absenteeism, some of them don't know the standing orders, and we want to assure them that the next house is not going to be an easy thing. So if you want to be part, please prepare and join the boat, because next house is going to be a serious one. Serious people are going to be coming to visit us. I believe we all know and knows that the next year is going to be an election year, and as a house we need to be very active to make sure that the youth make right decision in selecting leaders and all that, so that by the time we realize already we are most active youth in Impact Parliament in Ghana, but by the time we realize we will be known nationwide on news and all that. So I want to thank the Honorable Speaker for giving me the opportunity to brief the House on these simple issues. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Vixen, do you have anything to add before we start taking the questions? Yes, Vixen, do you have anything to add before we start taking the questions?
Yeah, let's speak on.
Okay. Yes, proceed to speak.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker in the House. Mr. Speaker, I just want to. Okay, so I want to add that in as much as all of us aspire to become great leaders, let us put in our all. Let's just do the just because, like honorable said, you have been fortunate to be given that seat. The same energy that you brought to apply, use the same energy to work. Because I believe we as young people, our blood is very hot. Our blood cannot be hot, and we will still be reneging on our responsibility as individual. So, zooming to the third parliament, I will urge all of us to discharge our duties intelligently. Let's recalibrate our value of volunteerism, selflessness, to resonate as an individual. I think that one, without that one, then you have no business in the house or serving in YIP. I think that's what I have to say, and I beseech all of us to do as the Constitution. Let's be hardworking, and I believe good hard work peace. That's everything I have to say. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. I think we'll now take the questions. I saw that two people raised their hands for questions, but it seems they are offline because I saw Idrisu and then. Okay, let's hear from Obed. Yes, Obed, what's your question?
Okay, Mr. Speaker, good evening. I just want to thank you for the clarification and everything. We really appreciate it as new members. Please, you have, as part of the vetting, maybe we may have some history. So, can we just have any site that we can read the history about the Youth Impact Parliament and some brief history, how it came about and everything? If you can recommend any site for us, I'll be very happy. Thank you.
Yes, the information you seek is available on our Facebook page. I'm talking about the concept paper of Youth Impact Movement is there. And even if you fill the Google form for the movement, you will as well see it there. But we'll share it on the page if you want as well. And then those of you who actively check our pages, you know you can see some of the histories there. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you. Oh, no, please, I'm okay. Thank you.
Yes, any other question? Any other questions? Whilst you're thinking about your question, let me state that the vetting might be done either in terms of regional basis, because within 5 days, all vetting will have to be done. Yes, within 5 days, all vettings will have to be done, either 5 or 6, because preparation for the inauguration, we need the database ready as soon as possible, because we have to prepare appointment letters for every single person. And then we'll have to put you in the brochure. And then as well, there will be contribution towards the inauguration. Someone has just recommended that the standing orders be given to each youth MP. If you want to talk about printing the standing orders, then we'll have to picture it inside. We'll have to picture that inside the levy, because for the inauguration we levy our youth MPs. Please, the application form is free. The levy is for the people who will be recommended, and all of you have to pay the levy. So if we are to print the standing orders for each of you, then we'll have to reconsider the amount for the levy. But by the end of the inauguration, I'll inform you of how much the levy is so that you start preparing ahead. And the levy is not per whether you are coming or not. So far as you are recommended, you have to pay the levy. So it will be done on regional basis. Please, if so far as you have given us assurance that you come, and we recommend you, and if in case you don't get the constituency that you have applied for, you'll be given another constituency. Please, as I said, the job is not in the constituency but in parliament. So what we are aiming at is the fact that you are being given an opportunity to represent a constituency. So for the fact that you don't know anything about that constituency does not mean what you shouldn't represent them. Because even in Parliament of Ghana, there are a lot of MPs there who don't even hail from the constituency they represent. But the issue is that the job has to be done in Parliament. So for the fact that because most of you out of the 155 constituencies, looking at the statistics, only about 60 constituencies were applied for. Some constituencies have as much as 10 people applying for them, some 7, some 5. And we can only recommend one person for a constituency. So by all means, someone will be given a constituency he has not requested for. Someone might even apply for a voter constituency, but might be given a northern constituency. It doesn't mean you don't qualify. It is because we can only agree to give one person. Okay. So please, we need you all to accept that for us. And if in case you miss your vetting date, we can at least do all to do it for you on another day, but it will not be out of the timetable. It will not be out of the timetable. Those of you, the vetting would be from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. To be from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Yes, Mike, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Good evening, everyone. Please, my question is there any specific workshop or training whereby for the youth members?
Yes, you see, we'll be having series of orientations. This is the first orientation, which is called pre-vetting orientation. After the pre-vetting orientation, we'll have a pre-inaugural orientation. After the pre-inaugural orientation, we will have post-inaugural orientation as well. So the pre-inaugural is to tell you everything before the inauguration and all the information you need. And then the post-inaugural is to teach you your job as well and everything you need to know and how you can make this work for you. Because everyone joining equally has an interest. There is no one here who can tell me he doesn't have an interest. Everyone joining has an interest. So we'll do the orientation, and then at the end of the year, at the starting of the next session, because our sessions are per year, so the next session will start in January, and we'll do another orientation again, because surely not all the constituencies will be filled, so we'll still open nomination again to fill those constituencies. And as we are doing orientation for them, you can as well join. So there will be more orientations, and all our orientations will be virtual. We'll not do any physical orientation because when we are sitting and we have a guest, the guest is coming to share his experience or teach us, and those you can count them as workshops. Yes, but it wouldn't be particularly about the house. The one that is about the house will be done online, but the one that our guests will come, honorable members, businessmen, and all those who come and tell us, those ones we can consider them as workshops. But apart from that, we'll proceed with our debates and all those. We do debates. We have private and public businesses. Yes. So that's it. Are you okay, Mike? Are you okay?
Yes, please. I'm okay.
Okay. So as of now, our Deputy Executive Director in charge of Parliamentary Affairs at the movement has joined. And I'd like him to speak on what he has with respect to the pre-vetting orientation and any other information. Yes, Amano, the floor is yours.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Oh, okay. His network is no good. Charles Kwame Mapo, you are returning MP. Anything for us? Charles, Faith, Julian, Celestine, Kofi Annan. These are the returning MPs online. If you have, yes. Amano, let's hear from you.
Okay, good evening. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I was having network issues earlier. Okay, so I thank you all for showing interest in joining Youth Impact Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker Jones has already said majority
Yeah,
of what
coming.
you need to know already, but just I'll add a little bit of what I know. I've been of the argument before the starting of this movement that the way things are going among the youth space, if care is not taken, we may perform worse than what the current leaders are putting the country through. So it is important that we put up a particular structure of this nature to nurture us into the future. At the last sitting, when we met Honorable Joshua Tete from Parliament and the presiding officer from the Municipal Assembly, Honorable Joshua made us understood that this is equally a training grounds for us in becoming responsible future leaders in the future. Like the same way today, footballers go into academies and the likes to play football, learn throughout to become professional. It is the same avenue we have here. But it's unfortunate that in our side of the world, things of this nature and leadership mantra are not taken into consideration. So they are being left on our own to fend for ourselves. Whatever policies and philosophies we pick for ourselves, whether it is good for the welfare of the people, we don't care. Once it benefits us, that's all we need. That's why Youth Impact Parliament is important. I've been saying in times with that number that maybe what we do as youth MPs, some of us may not be stopping there because maybe in some couple of years to come, I want to see myself as youth MP for Ningo Pomprang constituency. And what we do in Youth Impact Parliament is of no different from what is being done in the National Space Parliament. The only difference here is that we don't run any party color here, whereby we are to, how do I put it? We are to do things in accordance to the party philosophy, no. But here we just debate motions and the likes. We work through how Parliament operates, and it's the same thing. So it is equally a learning opportunity for all of us to be able to gain useful experience going into the future. Maybe some of us may not become, how do I put it, MPs or politicians per se, but this equally gives us the opportunity for public speaking, how some of us will learn our social norms and the likes. I know a lot of people, by virtue of this particular movement, one with the other, they have been able to gain the useful experience they need as far as public speaking is concerned. Right now, as we will speak, I may not be telling lies. If we subject all of us on this current call to speak in the public domain, probably among the people of 50, I'm sure that if I'm not mistaken, maybe 30 to 40% of us will be fumbling and will not have the said confidence to proceed. But little by little, when you join, you will get the avenue to speak. So it's equally a good thing. Moreover, you get opportunity to socialize among people that probably you might have not met before. So as I'm seeing majority of you online, I'm hoping to meet you in person when you go through the vetting process and then the appointment committee has recommended for you to be assigned a constituency. Together, I don't know who I will need in the future. Probably one of you may sign my $1 million check, my $1 million project or contract for me. Likewise, the vice versa. So it's equally an opportunity for us to learn, unlearn, and relearn for the future. Right Honorable Jones has already
made it clear. You see, you don't sign up for something that you will not be committed to in the future. And it is one, how do I put it? It is one attitude of we the youth today that it is very alarming that we must look at it. Me, I have one particular philosophy that I go with it. If I will not be committed in the future, if I start, irrespective of whatever situations and challenges that will come along the line, I have said to myself that this is what I have taken upon myself. I'll work out my space such that I'll be able to pull through as I've started in the beginning. And it is very important. And you see, if we zoom into the same thing, sometimes we convert this into our relationship, probably dating relationship. Yeah, you know very well that probably you like this person, but along the line, maybe seeing another person off the relationship and the likes. Once you know you will not be committed, don't start it in the first place. It's very important. So as Jones rightly said, many MPs over 20s have been referred to the privileges committee, and I'm sure probably at our last sitting for this particular parliamentary year, they'll be booted out because we want the standing orders to rule. If we are training youth to become responsible future leaders, it means ourselves we must hold the standing orders right. So this is just the pre-orientation, pre-vetting orientation. Post-orientation vetting will come, and probably you'll be taken through the standing orders, what you have to know and what you are not to know. But at this particular juncture, I welcome you all to Houston Parliament and the zeal that we have all taken upon ourselves that one with the other, we want to learn and make Ghana what it is that we want to see in the future. Please, let's kindly put all our energy in what we have started. And I'm sure at the end of the day, we will reap the effect that we want to see in the future. Just imagine all of us on this particular call, and then we all go through the mill, learn for ourselves, and appear in Parliament today. Like we appear in Parliament one day, all of us on this particular call. Maybe the MPs that are returning, the returning MPs, like myself, Koji, Honorable Charles Mapo, and the likes. I'm just imagining what will be of Parliament in the future if we are the caliber of MPs that will be in Parliament probably in some 16 to 20 years to come. I'm very satisfied and sure within myself that Parliament will be full of people with high intellectual and people who are willing to serve their people. So it's very important. Maybe all of us may not go to Parliament, all of us may not become politicians, but it's equally a learning opportunity. Most of them, when I tell people that I'm an engineering student, they don't believe. They don't believe that I already, or let me say, I'm an engineering grad. They don't believe because on a normal day, these things does not concern we, the engineering student. It doesn't concern us 11111. But because we've subjected ourselves to learning and seeking counsel for people who, one with the other, are equally good in this particular field, it makes us learn. So you are very diverse and very open, very versatile as far as majority of topics are concerned. So you realize that when you meet your peers who are not probably one with the other of your nature, you tend to be far ahead as far as your thinking capacity is concerned. So the appointment committee will roll out the vetting. It's not anything too stressful. As Honorable Jones has said, probably maybe you've applied for a particular constituency. It is not automatic that probably you may get a particular constituency. You may be assigned a different constituency. The work we do here is not mainly a constituency based work. It is just for you to get a representative so that you can come in and learn. It's a learning opportunity. Maybe if you are lucky and then you have been assigned the constituency that you wish, then it's equally an opportunity for you to network with the current MP and whoever authority that probably is in line with that particular constituency for your own development. But any way possible, it's equally an avenue for learning. Because if we should go into our records, using part Parliament, from the start of 2021 to where we are currently, I must say we are the most vibrant youth parliament in the whole of Ghana and beyond. Maybe records may prove otherwise, but this is what I believe. Because if nothing at all, the number of sittings that we've held in the first and second parliament, down to our archives as far as the videos, the video recording and documents from our parliament is concerned, all of them are documented on YouTube, Facebook, and all our social media handles that you can go back and refer for yourself. So this is equally a great opportunity for all of us, and I wish you all the best in this particular endeavor. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you very much, my able deputy. So he has said it all, and I think we are still taking questions. If you have inquiries to make, this is the time you can ask such a question. The video we are showing right now is the last sitting of the first parliament, and these are how beautiful and colorful our sittings are. They really do serious business. We are the only youth parliament in Ghana to have all our robes. Yes, it's a very serious record. So, let me say, as I said, this parliament I have equally learned and I have developed my parliamentary skills, public speaking from this entire initiative. I had the opportunity to preside over a sitting where an MCE appointed by the President of the Republic of Ghana was in our midst, where a member of parliament of our republic was in our midst. These are some of the opportunities. Those people will not come if not for this initiative. It was because we had an initiative and they had a reason to come. A lot of people are ready to come and interact with us. And this is the platform that they will come and you can say, as a youth MP, you want to establish that rapport with him. It is all from this initiative that even members of parliament of Ghana are aware of such a thing like this in the Volta region. Sincerely speaking, even the public affairs of parliament of Ghana have heard of our name because all our records are clear. We have a very transparent group. We are a very transparent group. Youth Model Parliament will take 200 cities as forms for you to become a youth MP. But the forms are completely free because this is a voluntary thing that we are doing. We don't see why it should get to a stage. Or they'll tell you to do this and that from it. Yes, it makes sense. But we feel you shouldn't pay that much to volunteer for your capacity to be built. So the only thing is that you pay dues and then the inaugural levy, which is relevant for the start, and then a monthly dues of 5 cedis until it's being reviewed. 5 cedis, that's all. So even when we add the entire money, some of you might not even spend more than 100 cedis as a direct token for the running of this entire organization, as compared to some groups that we end up spending like 400, 500. Then the only thing is your transportation. Yeah, so please, this is a very serious thing that we are doing. Yes, Gideon, let's hear from you. Yes, Gideon, unmute yourself and speak.
Right Honorable.
Yes, please.
Right Honorable. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can.
Okay, good evening, noble participants of this orientation. My name is Gideon, and I'm very grateful to be participating in this discussion. Thank you once again to the organizers of this particular orientation as well. I have to say, this is actually insightful, and just when I joined, I've been able to gather so many experiences and, should I say, knowledge or ideas. I have one question. And the question is, do you have, should I say, questions that will be asked on the vetting day? I want to know if there is a particular criteria or means, or should I say, do they have angles they pick the questions from. That's what I want to be sure. It's a general question that they ask. So if you can help, explain things to me small, I'll be very grateful. Thank you.
This one I will allow Francis Koji to answer since he's part of the appointments committee. Francis Koji, is he here? He's not here. Is there any other member who is part of that? Okay, Amano, please answer this question since you are an ex-official to that committee.
Okay, thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to the question asked by Honorable Gideon. It is this particular vetting is not too skeptical or any difficult thing. So probably maybe you might have been to vettings before. This is just simple. Your knowledge about the constituency that you have applied for, your willingness and your zeal to learn. That's how the questions will be. It's not anything, how do I put it, anything cumbersome for you to be learning names of ministers. No, we don't do that. The only thing is probably you've applied for what's the name, a constituency like Ninko Pampang constituency, for example. You should have a brief knowledge, the political and geographical, how do I put it, knowledge about that particular constituency. Your willingness to be committed to the cause that you are signing for. Maybe one or two personal questions may come and the likes. Maybe your CV, tell us a brief history about yourself and the likes. Nothing too cumbersome to be worried about. So just prepare. Probably, I'm of the argument that this is going to be a one-on-one interaction where we are going to learn from your end. You also learn from our end by making sure that we are selecting the right people to represent the constituencies that have been applied for. Nothing much. Thank you very much.
Okay, Gideon, is your question answered?
Loud and clear. I'm very grateful. I'm very, very grateful. Thank you so much, Right Honorable.
Thank you very much. Please, are there any other questions? Because we are approaching to the end of this session. Are there any other questions? If there are no questions, then I would like to proceed with the closing remarks. Or maybe one of the sitting MPs has something to add. Maybe you can do so. Yes, I can see Bruce, Celestine, yes, and then Kwame, Faith. You are all returning MPs. Do you have anything to share with the new MPs coming on board? Okay. If you don't have anything to share, then we'll proceed. Yes, Faith, what do you have to share with us?
So thank you.
Okay, Vixen, let's hear from you.
Okay. But Mr. Speaker, one Mr. Bruce, thank you, Mr. Speaker in the House. Mr. Speaker, one way that I have for the incoming MP is that in everything we do, we have to attach seriousness and this is one of the name in all our might, and let's do things honorably, because where we are or the house in which you are, things that we do over there, that's what people used to describe us as honorable. So if you come there and do things dishonorably, I don't think that we fit for that place. So I'm leaving them with this word. Let's be serious. Let's do things honorably so that all of us will live in harmony in the house. So for the betterment of YIP in Ghana as large. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. So, yes, Faith, do you have anything to share?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I don't really have anything much to say because everything has already been said by the other honorable members. But I would just like to advise not just myself, but the new MPs and also the returning MPs. I would just like to say that the zeal with which we are starting with, let's continue that way. Yeah, I'm talking to myself as well, because when you start, you're all excited and you're all happy. You come to for the sittings eagerly and all that, but there will come times will come when you feel like not continuing, you feel like just stopping. So I would just like to advise everyone that irrespective of those moments, we should try to put the picture or remember what motivated us to join in the first place. Yeah, let that be the driving force. Let that be what will push us to continue, to be persistent and to be diligent with the parliament. That's all. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much for that.
Yes, thank you very much for. Yes, thank you very much for that important insights you have shared with us. It's very true. Along the line, some of the youth MPs lose focus and then they turn out to go wayward, and that is what contributes to them not coming. Maybe they ask questions, what are we benefiting? And then my answer to that is because they came with the wrong mindset and the wrong interests. This is not a money making platform. So you cannot come here expecting allowances because what we give you, money cannot buy. You bring people who you have to pay 10,000 or 1,000 or go through a lot of protocols to meet. We bring them to the house for you to interact with and take their numbers. That money cannot do for you. And what you learn from here, you have to go to school and then maybe you have to go to an institute of politics or journalism to learn them. We teach you over here for free. So there are lots of things we teach you that you cannot pay for. And if you know that you have recognized that indeed you are benefiting from this thing, you will not be, you'll not be relentless. You will not lose focus along the line. So if you start the vim that you take to start, ensure you end with that vim. And ensure that you end with that vim. Those of you who might be from afar who are ready to come around, the rule is just that after every 3 sittings, ensure you are present. The speaker will give you permission to be absent for only 3 sittings. So at worst, if we are meeting 12 times, ensure that you attend 4 sittings. That's just the ratio because we understand that transportation is becoming very expensive. From Ho to Accra is basically 150 cedis in and out. You eat and then some other things, 200 cedis. From Ho to Cape Coast and then all those is basically like 500 cedis and then all those. Yes, that is why under normal circumstances, when you are that far away and it is going to be very difficult for you to come. We rather prefer that you should be a member of the movement and not a youth MP. Because after all, sittings will be recorded. And whatever that the MPs are benefiting, you also benefit. The only difference is that you might not be publicized and be outdoor. Yes, but if you cannot come for sittings, it's very, very problematic for us. But if you're in Accra, you should be able to at least save at least some 200 down every 3 months. At least you try and make it to one sitting. Some MPs keep on asking, why can't sittings be held in Accra? Organization is not that easy as you think. Over here, we are able to get, on the Mercy and then the Goodwill or some others, you're able to get some things free. Taking, for example, the venue. But when we move it to any other town, we have to pay for venue. We have to transport all our items. And already majority of the MPs are in the Volta region. Now moving it there, how are they going to come? Just for the minority, the majority will suffer. Obviously, that cannot be true. So please, maybe in the near future when we have very, very strong financial funds that, in fact, we can even come and set up our own canopy and set up our own chamber. sittings might always be held here. So please, assurances, our sittings will always be recorded. Our sittings will always be recorded. So if in case you know that translation will be an issue, you just inform us that you will not be able to come. And we understand. Yes, I think Amano has something to add. Yes, Amano.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So, in relation to what you have just said, we wanted to make it very easier for everybody to participate in the sitting. So, in the beginning of the second session, I proposed that if nothing at all, we should hold one virtual sitting and one physical sitting. So, for example, if this month's sitting was, what the name, physical, July's own will be virtual. So we piloted that particular sitting with the March sitting, but we could all tell that it was very appalling, very, very bad. The attendance was very bad. The total number of MPs out of the 93 MPs was about 12. So it was not a terrorism. So the MPs have to scrap it out. So going to the future, we can re-look at this particular one. My purpose is that everybody should be given an opportunity. So Mr. Speaker and I were looking at some conditions that we can be able to make it very moderate going to the future so that our rules will not be too rigid for everyone's benefit. So it will be born out of the zealness that you have to be part of this particular movement. If we have the argument that we are moving our sitting virtual, because that day I was expecting those who are far away, who cannot come all the way to sitting, that have never attended. I was expecting them to, one way or the other, they should be the people who will be on that particular virtual sitting. But it's a lie. It is really the normal, regular people who normally attend the physical sitting. We were the people rather that we were the ones on that particular call. So if you know that probably you are far away, that you can't come for the physical sittings most often, if the rules are being relaxed, and I'm sure that particular motion will be tabled again in the July sitting, that we look at the modalities around our virtual sitting so that we can make the rules a bit relaxed. Please, when the rules are being relaxed for our benefit, I know probably the cost of data is high this time around, that we all can bear the consequences. But if you compare probably 150 cities from Ho to Accra as the cost of transportation, probably and feeding and the likes, to probably 5 city data for something of this nature, it is nice. Then once in a while, when you have the opportunity, probably you can pass through the physical sitting so that that willingness and zealness will be there. We have members who come from Accra. For example, the first deputy speaker, Right Honorable, what's the name? Adesha Felix. Though he's in Accra, but every now and then, all the sittings he has been present. So it is all about the willingness and then the zealness to do the work. So it's very important. So I'm sure probably in our July sitting, which is on the 8th, on the 8th or 7th. 7th is a Friday, right, Honorable Speaker?
Oh, really?
Right, Honorable? Oh, really? Yeah, 7th is a Friday. 7th July is a Friday, so the sitting will be around 9th if we are considering that particular. Yeah, 9th. So it's very important so that I'm sure I will be tabling that particular motion again. I'll make it that my work. When I table that motion and then we all come together, because as we are growing, we started with no constituency representative in the second parliament. Then we came to agree on 93 constituencies, forming Volta, Oti, Greater Accra, and Eastern. Now we've added the 3 northern regions. Mr. Speaker, is it Central or Ashanti?
In Central.
In Central region, making up 155 seats. So little by little, we are growing. And while the number is growing, if somebody probably might have applied from Northeast, maybe Savlugu, from Savlugu to Ho is very far. So maybe the person can attend only one physical sitting here. It is understandable. We should be able to make the virtual sitting also a point. But the virtual sitting can only hold when the attendance of the virtual sitting is very encouraging. That we will adopt it as part of proceeding going forward. So it is very important. So I want you to know this before probably vetting and you are assigned a particular constituency, because money is very hard to come by. And you may not, some of us may not be working, but we all want to learn. The absence of money should not prevent us from learning. It's very important. So when the avenue is being created for a virtual sitting to be held on a particular day, those of us who will be far away, I want you to know this before we even go into the vetting for you to be assigned a particular concept. But on the inauguration day, you should do your possible best. You should do your best to come around, because maybe that may be the day you come, you interact with one few other people. Then when you are gone, and maybe you may not be able to come for sitting probably continuously like 2 times, and you join a virtual sitting, I already know you, so that when there's anything, I can speak on your behalf. But once you don't come at all, I don't know you. Maybe I may know you by virtue of you being the member of my caucus, but I may not know you on a personal base whereby I can make argument and defense on your behalf because you have not attended the meeting. It's very important. It's very, very important for me, because going to the future, I want all of us to learn. So, Mr. Speaker, sorry for me being long on this particular issue, because it's very key to my heart. Yeah, I want to put it through. You see, was it last year? Honorable Adjoa Safo and Honorable Greater Accra Regional Minister were referred to the Privileges Committee by virtue of them absenting themselves since more than 15 times from the House. I'm sure all of us on this particular call, one way or the other, might have chastised all these 3 MPs, most especially Honorable Adjoa Safo. Right? Majority of us have. So if it is an attitude that the big boys are putting up that we don't like, then it means that we ourselves, one way or the other, must be able to put out particular structures in place that we will live and be more productive, and we will not be doing what they have done. Because if we don't like what the MPs have done, those 3 MPs, Honorable Ken, Greater Accra, and then most especially, what's the name? Honorable Adjoa Safo, I'm sure we will do our things in a way that one way will perform better than her, and that is my concern. Because if we are chastising the leaders who are leading us currently, without us being preparing ourselves to be able to go in there and make a change, then I don't think this particular core or this particular youth impact parliament or whatever is of any importance. Let's just let things start, because we won't change. That is why this is very needed. This is why this is very needful. So I plead with everybody. That is why I've applied through appointment committee, so that one way or the other we can hear from your end. The zealness. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, thank you very much, our Deputy Executive Director in charge of Parliamentary Affairs. His portfolio in the movement is he's basically the caretaker of all our parliamentary branches, because, mind you, this is not the only chapter. The Ghanaian chapter is the main chapter, but we also have a chapter in Uganda, and his office at the movement supervises these 2 chapters. If we create any other chapter of Youth Impact Parliament in any country, he'll be the one to supervise it. So basically, he's basically the father of the entire parliamentary initiative. We also have another deputy executive director who is in charge of any chapter that or branch that we will have for the foundation. So even if you are here and you have a humanitarian activity you want to collaborate with us, Youth Impact Foundation is ready for that. Honourable members, at this time, I would like to thank all of you for availing yourself. Those of you who are here have participated. Those of you who are not able to join us, please watch the YouTube stream and then you'll be well to do. So I want to thank you very much. Can someone give us a closing prayer? And then we close. You can just unmute yourself and give us the closing prayers.
Okay, I don't know if I'm allowed to pray.
Yes, proceed.
Okay, thank you so much. And then before I pray, I want to sincerely appreciate your office and then for all this. I mean, it was very insightful. We've learned a lot and we are very grateful for that. So let me say a word of prayer for us to just drop out. Our Lord and Master, we are most grateful to you for how far you have brought us. We thank you so much for this discussion. We pray, oh God, that this will be impactful and will have a stay in our hearts and our minds. So that going forward, the youth impact will be more relevant than even expected. And then our existence will be felt across the country. These are many more blessings we ask to your believers and Jesus Christ. I pray thank you and adoration. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Amen.